This is your spring rundown 173. Let's get it. All right, welcome back everyone to episode 173, aka the spring rundown this week. We got Daemons of the Shadow Realm episode 8 and 9. We got Wistoria season 2 episode 7 and 8. And One Piece Elbaph Arc episode 1163 and 1164. Just like we always say, linktree.com/anime Degens to support us. You can find all of our links there: YouTube, Spotify, Discord, all our social medias, all that good stuff. And that's the best way to support us is just follow us everywhere. Rate the podcast on your podcast platforms and all that good stuff. This week it's just me and Nam once again. I actually tried to get Dan back for an upcoming episode, but his schedule's too wonky still, so we'll have to put that one on hold for a future day. But I was kind of excited. I thought I had a chance. I texted him and was like, yo, you want to come back? If you do, we will do this one show that you really like, Dan.
He did too. He did. He made a great pitch and everything. He was like, we'll work around your schedule. And he was like, look, the only time I have is nighttime. And nighttime is when I go off to Fantasyland. And I ain't missing out on Fantasyland. No, that's when he's got to take care of the little one. So
yeah. So I tried, y'all. I tried to get him back. So maybe sometime or another we'll actually get him in here and we'll have some fun things to talk about. So, but with that being said, Nam, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's get started with Daemons of the Shadow Realm then.
So, episode 8. Suspicion and Conviction. After the events of the fight, the group inside of the manor, they begin to search for somewhere to eat. And that's when we get to meet a larger gentleman named Hikaru, who has an all-white daemon and an all-black daemon. And he actually uses them to just kind of brush over areas. And ta-da! Brand new. Literally good as new. One thing that I found really cool though was how they actually tied everything together. This guy's a mangaka.
Yeah, I that was surprising to me, Nam. Not gonna lie.
No, and it was a really cool touch too, because it actually makes a lot more sense of how, like, who his daemons are and why he's able to use them with such high proficiency, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's used to drawing. He's used to creating things, right? You can create things out of absolute nothing. So you clear off an area, let him draw, and bam, now you have exactly what it is that you want.
Yeah, except when he redoes it, it like takes the form of whatever he imagines. Like, I'm pretty sure that he could probably create anything he wanted to as long as he could imagine what it looked like, probably.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, again, he created an entire pillar that wasn't there.
mm-hmm.
And it's really cool, too, because he even says, like, don't worry about the color. It'll actually bleed in from the environment.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Now we know like what they was talking about when Asa like was destroying the garden and they was like, we'll get him to fix it or whatever. Now we know. Now we understand the process and how somebody could actually fix that. And stuff
in seconds, literally in seconds too.
Yeah.
That was the crazy part.
I bet his job as a mangaka is like super easy. Like he just picture what he wants to write down and just Oda and them would kill for that. So
you think so?
Yeah.
we'll touch up on that one. Uh but no, another cool thing too is like Derry even's like, oh my god, I recognize you. I know your work. And so it was a really cool scene. But while talking, Hikaru actually reveals that he is the oldest of the three Kagemori brothers. And that's where we actually get to find out that uh him, Asuma, not the Naruto guy, okay? I even put that in our notes so that way Tyler wouldn't get confused. But he's the guy that's got the sword standing in the group, and then Gene. All three of them are brothers.
He wasn't smoking any cigarettes. I could see that much.
I'm glad. But anyways, he also doesn't want to run the clan at all. He thinks it's actually kind of like shady and stuff like that, and wants nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other two have more interest in actually running the clan and upholding its values and such. Um, One other thing too is that none of them have the same mom.
It's interesting to see, interesting to find out, but it makes sense since they literally are like
So different looking from each other.
and acting. Like they're
Yes.
also they all have like so. Obviously the mangaka, he's like a very laid back, happy go lucky type dude. Then the middle one, he's like uh very quiet natured and just like relaxed, I guess. And then you got the
Yep.
youngest one, and he's just like pissed off at everyone.
Always on edge.
He's always got
Always
like
on edge.
that, resting bitch face and all that shit, bro. It's so funny.
Yeah. Um, so as they all sit down, right, we get to see actually a bunch of little Daemons carrying
Mm-hmm.
some stuff, and I guess this is what they mean too by the entire village was just swarming with Daemons.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you gotta have someone to do all that stuff. So,
And this was kind of
um,
cool. This was really cool, Nam. Uh, like to have all these little creatures running around. I really enjoyed that. Seeing all that, seeing how it worked. You know what I mean? It was
yeah,
kind of cute if you didn't look at them too close.
of course you would say that. Um, but anyways, while eating, the Kagemoris start chiding Dara, thinking that he had something to do with it. And while all this is going on, Yuru's just trying to eat some food, but Asa is literally staring him down just in amazement at every little thing he's doing. Oh my god, he's eating rice! Oh my god, he's drinking miso soup!
Look how cute he is. It's so funny. And then
Um,
and her emotions like change so much when she starts talking to like Dara too. It's so crazy, bro.
yeah. And that's the crazy part too, is Derek keeps getting blamed for everything that's happening. Or that's happened, right? They're like, oh yeah, we also just had Daemons here a moment ago. He's like, I had nothing to do with it.
I do
And I
not
was
know.
attacked by assassins a long time ago. I had nothing to do with it. Yuri's like, and I was getting attacked on the mountain by assassins ever since I was growing up. And he was like, please, I've got nothing to do with it, guys. There's more people that know the entrance than me.
He said, I'm just a guy.
um, but he kind of reveals how little he actually knows of the situation, despite being on the side of the villagers, right? Um, because we find out through some means that it was actually the Higurashi villagers who who actually had a hand in was Asa's assassination,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Uh
it's what they say anyways. Like I'm not sure if they 100% know that or not cuz I think this is one of those things where like they're different like sort of clans slash cults or whatever, right? And they just blame each other because like who else they gonna blame? You know what I mean?
yeah, and I mean at the end of the day, like Dara was just a traveling merchant who delivered news to Granny. It's not like he actually did much else.
He was basically like an affiliate of the Higurashi clan or whatever, right? So
Exactly. And I mean, he even came unarmed to pick up Yuru, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
when the Kagemori revealed that they'd actually rather be done with the powers of the twins entirely, and that is actually why they wish for the village to be destroyed and why they attacked it in the first place, right? They
yeah,
wanted Asa and Yuru to be the last twins to obtain the powers, and then that was it.
yeah. And that's also interesting because like they literally told us that the village was the creator of the twins. Like I guess the only way you could have them is if you had twins born in that village, specifically that village. So I get it, I just don't know. I guess up to this point now, one thing I have a hard time understanding is like the consequences of the twins, because we keep on saying like it's bad, it's cursed, blah blah blah, curse this, but we haven't really had any evidence of what actually happens when twins are born like them. You know what I mean? We just been told vaguely what happens. So
Well, yeah, and I mean that's obviously going to be the mystery that gets
yeah,
flushed out as time goes on, but there is a part that you're also overlooking too.
what's that?
Gonzo, who is the head of the family,
Old
claims
man.
that the Higashi village actually has plans to try and control the world using the twins.
Makes sense. I mean, they obviously have to have some sort of plan if they keep on trying to produce them and keep them there. So
Yeah. Um the Asuma actually here, he has a plan that he believes will actually satisfy everyone, right? Um he wishes to actually train Shikamaru so that way he can become a grand strategist. No, he actually wishes for the village to actually be under the control of a larger clan that can actually oversee them, right? And he didn't specifically say their clan either, which makes it seem more genuine that he's actually trying to find more of a middle ground that will appease everyone without resorting to violence
hmm
or, utter destruction, which I think Yuru's going to appreciate that option a lot better too. But at this point, he thanks the group for the food, and he's also wondering who is making Asa feel like she has to be sorry for literally everything. Because, she's always apologizing and stuff like that, and she's super sorry to him, and he doesn't realize that it's just how she's acting towards him specifically. But, like, he's telling everyone that, yeah, he's gonna, he's gonna kick their ass basically, right? And he's got no reason to hide,
hmm
and that he's ready to take on anyone. And once he does, he will finally learn everything.
I think I think he's just ignorant. He doesn't know what he's talking about, Nam.
Big facts. He really has absolutely no clue. And honestly, like, how can you when you still haven't even gotten to know anything about the city, let
Yeah.
alone modern day and how the rest of the world actually works?
Yeah, I mean, he still thinks like he doesn't understand how big the world is, how advanced the world is, and he's yapping like this. You know what I mean? So I totally get Asa for being like, you stupid dummy, big head loser dude or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever she said.
Going in on what you were saying, she starts chiding him for his foolish thinking, and that's when she even tries calling on right and left, and they're like, "No, no, we have to do what Master says. We always have to listen to Master."
They're just as
And
stupid
left's
as
like,
him.
Left's like, I would never dare think to disobey whatever Master's command was. Why, it is the absolute command that I must follow every time.
Meanwhile,
They
the
got
whole
like a
time,
twinkle in their
I was
eyes
gonna
and
say,
stuff like
meanwhile
that.
they're talking, their eyes are just sparkling and shit.
Yeah, they're even more excited than Yuru is, honestly, for this. They love the fact that they're out of being stone and get to roam the world now, so they wanna take it in.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so, Gabby is even on Yuru's side, which I found to be actually rather surprising, considering that the two literally still hate each other. They make it known every time that they see each other right now. And I hope that it continues. But yeah, they she agrees with him, and at this point, Asa has no choice but to accept it, right?
He's got to learn on his own. You know what I mean? He doesn't understand. He's got to figure it out. So
Well, not only that, but Gabby put it best. You have someone here literally willing to take on half of the responsibility from you,
mm-hmm.
and it's your brother, no less. Why are you saying no?
Exactly. But I get why she's saying no. She don't want him to go through, what she's been through. So he's so innocent in his own way. So
Yeah. The Kagemoris make one last attempt to recruit Yuru, but then he reminds them that while he understands why they actually attacked the village, he can never forgive them. And yeah, fuck you guys, I'm not joining you. But now that the conversation is over, Dara requests their leave, to which Asa wants him to make sure he looks after Yuru, right?
mm-hmm.
And he can't help but feel as though like Yuru still can't help but feel as though Asa is in a cage. Like as he's getting ready to leave, it's just a different one. But this is when Asa kind of like she really pulls a fast one on him, and she's like, "Wait, look, here's a picture of our parents." And using that, she actually ends up getting to take a photo with him, and he gets to learn a little bit more about tech in this time, which was kind of a funny moment. I enjoyed it.
he's gonna be like he's gonna have a smartphone before we know it. He's growing up on us now.
I definitely. I don't think he'll be very proficient with it, but I definitely believe that he will have one to take pictures and to be able to make phone calls
Maybe
to like
start him out
three
with
people.
one of the Nokias, the Nokia track phones.
Get him get him an actual tank phone. Um but then we also get another interesting bit here, right? It's been 10 years since Yuru was abandoned, and I'll cover that bit in just a moment. Don't
mm-hmm.
spoil that one, Tyler, okay?
Okay,
Let me just
okay.
cook here for a moment. Um but it was 10 years since Asa and their parents had left that Yuru was still stuck on that mountain. So from the age of 6 until now, he was on that mountain by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to let that sink in for a moment. Also, the whole like animosity between the Tadera clan and the Kagemoris was literally in full swing when they were talking, because Asa's like, "What's your address?" And he's like, "It's here." And she's like, "What's your address, Dara?" And he's like, "I'm not giving that to the Kagemoris." And he was like, Jin was like, "What about phone or an email?" And he was like, "I'm not stupid enough to let you guys track me through anything."
And of course, Yuru, he has no idea. He just knows like the prefecture or whatever. I don't even know if he got that right, but
Probably not. But from there, they end up settling on a strip club that the Kagemoris run, and all he's got to do is go there, mention Jin's name. They will take care of him while Jin is being summoned so that way they can actually meet up, right? Sharing
Mm-hmm.
their information. So Jin has a look in his eye that he's gonna drink on his tab, or Dara's got a look on his eyes that he's gonna drink on Jin's tab,
Of course.
which Jin calls out, and we will cover that in the next episode. Um, but just before Yuru actually leaves, Asa stops him and reveals that Granny Yamaha is a backstabbing, two-timing son of a bitch who deserves what she got and then some in the first couple episodes, Tyler. You can't prove to me any fucking differently. That dumb bitch deserved it all. That is why Yuru got left behind. That is why.
I think that Yuru needed to hear that from Asa though, because like he's got to understand that like his home of so many years wasn't, perfect either. Like they had their bad moments too and their bad people too. So I think that that's what he needed to hear. That way he isn't so ignorant of the situations that he is in right now. So
Yeah. Um but as he goes to turn away and kind of hide his feelings, right? Because he's sad boy era now.
mm-hmm.
Um Asa actually lunges out and gives him a hug from behind. And just before she walks away, she touches his back like she used to when she was in the cage in the village. And that's when he finally realizes. And as the gate closes, Yuru collapses to the ground, tears in his eyes. And he finally admits that that's really Asa. Duh!
We've known this, Yuru.
Fucking idiot. But anyways, Gonzo actually reveals though too that right and left actually should have been used by a third party, right? It should not have gone to one of the wielders of break or seal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because that way you could actually control one, the users, and two, keep right and left in check. But that's not the case here. And now, should something happen to Yuru, there's nothing that's going to be able to stop those two.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, Nam, like, why was Yuru the one that got right and left? You know what I mean? Because Asa didn't get them, and so, and it doesn't. I don't know if we've actually seen Asa with her own Daemons, right? We haven't seen that yet, right?
Yeah, we have.
Well, I mean, she's got the yin and yang ones, right?
Yeah, those are her Daemons.
Yeah, but they're new. She just got them.
Yeah, and the only other Daemon she has is Break.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, Yuru.
And technically, we did see Break. It's just,
yeah,
Break doesn't have a physical manifestation like that.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, like, you think that, like, if the way I thought it would kind of work is like the twins would have just one pair of demons for both of them since they was twins. You know what I mean? And like the right and left would belong to both of them at the same time, or whatever. So I was kind of wondering why I went to just Yuru himself.
Well, you can't split Daemons like that.
I mean, I feel like when we're talking about twins and special twins and stuff like that, I feel like you could though. You know what I mean?
Well, no, they would be separate entities, right? At that point, but Daemons come in pairs.
Yeah,
Daemons are pairs. The special Daemons, Tyler, are Break and Seal.
Yeah,
which need two separate host bodies to form the pair.
I got you.
Outside of that, every other Daemon is a pair for the contract.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why when right and left form their contract, it's with one person. They just have the abilities to stop break and seal, but that doesn't mean that they can't still, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
be assigned like to different people, different owners.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. It makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah, because again, like Yuru would never have even gotten right and left to begin with. The only reason why he did was because the village never got somebody to control right and left, and they also didn't have break and seal. They only had seal.
Mm-hmm.
So when Dara came to take him and escape, that's when he decided to actually awaken the Daemons, and Dara wasn't taking him, so he gave him to Yuru.
Yeah,
It
and
was more of a desperation thing than a plan thing.
I almost wonder if like the village. I almost wonder if like they couldn't give it to anybody because I feel like it would be in their best interest to give it to someone, regardless if they had break and seal or not. But see, remember, Dara, he actually is the one that had the key or whatever. So I wonder if he just wouldn't allow them to have it. You know what I mean? Maybe maybe the Tadera clan was in charge of the overseeing of the left or right or whatever, and it was waiting till the right time or whatever to give it to him.
Could be.
Mm, it's interesting.
It is indeed. Um, that being said, though, that's how the episode ends. Do you have anything else for that one?
No, that is it.
Okay. Episode 9, Embrace and Whisper. As the episode starts, uh, Dara thinks about how he's going to be drinking on Jean's tab. I told you we'd be talking about it in the
Poor
next
dude.
episode.
Poor dude. He's gonna
Um,
be broke.
but this is actually when he gets a little sidetracked, and he actually decides to use this as an opportunity to take a tour around and teach Yuru more of the modern world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the Daemons are amazed, right? And we even get to a scene where there's horse racing, everyone's cheering.
Except
Then all of
for
a sudden, Dara's not cheering.
lost a lot of money, probably.
Um, but at this point, now that they're finally done, and Yuru starts talking about the horses and stuff, now he's talking about his bow and how he actually wants to make some arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dara takes Yuru to a supermarket where they can buy everything he needs to make some arrows. He's even learning about some new modern things like wood glue, so he doesn't have to make his own, thankfully. Um, and just everything else, right? Like he's already gotten all the feathers from before. All they need now is the arrowheads, the actual stems. So they work on getting all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as they are checking out, turns out that the cashier could actually see right and left. And it turns out, though, don't worry, she's not actually a Daemon wielder, right? She's not going to come in and attack them. She doesn't work for the Kagemoris. She's just sleep deprived, Tyler.
She's just hallucinating.
Let the girl go to sleep. She won't be seeing him anymore, okay?
I loved it. I loved it. She like asked her boss, like, "Can I go take a break?" He's like, "Quit trying to get out of your job. Get back to work."
Yeah. No, I thought that was actually a pretty interesting thing though too. Like it makes a lot of sense. You know how you always like see things whenever you don't get a lot of sleep?
No, not really. I just, get my brain gets a little foggy. You know what I mean? So
Okay, well,
I don't really see
stay
things though. No.
stay up a little bit longer and do it more frequently so that way it's, you get less and less sleep so that way you're deprived of it and then you'll start seeing some things.
I think I'll
No, it's not,
pass.
but it's an actual thing that
Yeah,
happens, and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
really cool to actually see that she like the mangaka brought that out.
I think it takes like extreme, sleep loss in order to get to that point. But yeah,
Eh,
yeah.
um, As they're getting ready to leave, though, Yuru decides to pick out a whole new outfit. And this is actually when he has a memory of his time on the mountain. And this is where they begin to try and theorize of who it could be and why. And Dara reveals a few other things, or a few others also know the route, but only a few others,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the circle is very, very small over who knows how to get up there. Like even was it Hana? Yeah, Hana doesn't even know the route to get up there. She doesn't even want to try to learn the route either.
That's responsibilities, Nom. And that seems like Hana's that type of person. She's just
Oh
like
yes.
me.
And just like you, also wants to marry Jason Statham.
Exactly.
um Yuru is what is it though? Nope, hang on. Sorry. Yuru actually notices that there's a tail on them though. And Dara's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got a place we can go." And Yuru's like, "But aren't you concerned? Like, I thought you were concerned about your identity getting out." And Dara's like, "Oh, don't worry, I already planned for that when I went there." Places like that have a lot of security, a lot of cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
He even says like they shell out for top-notch security,
Mm-hmm.
and he's thinking of turtles. Yuru's thinking of turtles.
He's
He's
like,
like,
what the
shell
hell?
out. Um, but luckily for Dara, there's actually somebody else there who absolutely despises him being anywhere near Yuru, and everywhere that he was near Yuru. Asa.
Mm-hmm.
Jean even comes by and he's like, "Hey, do you have that photo that has Dara's face in it?" She's like, "Nope." And she literally just deleted him out of it.
she used she used what is it photo uh what the hell?
Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop. Yeah, she used like
Yep.
Photoshop shit to take him out of it like instantly. It's like, damn, she really don't want anybody ruining her brother's picture.
Nope. Um, so the Kagemoris, though, they continue actually their interrogation of the two assassins who are still remaining, and they reveal everything that they know.
Mm-hmm.
One thing doesn't really add up, though, and it's that they claim that they entered the West Gate. Tyler, you know what the problem with that is?
Yeah, I mean, we learned what the problem was. It's because there was no West Gate. There's just a wall there.
There is no West Gate. Damn it.
So how did they get in through the west side if there's no West Gate, Num?
It's a really good question.
I don't
And you
think
know
we
what?
know. I don't think we know yet, do we?
There's one way to find out. Gonzo tells one of his guys to go ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what go ahead means to them, but this guy comes out with his big old scary hands from behind him, grabs the woman's Daemons, and just holds them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's not squeezing, right? He's not doing anything threatening.
I felt afraid for him though. They
Me
looked
too.
that little Tanuki and whatever the hell it was. I forget what it was, but they looked like they were scared for their lives. I would have been too though. So.
Yep. Good news though. This daemon is not known to actually hurt creatures. All it does is hold them while
Mm-hmm.
it glazes over their memories to learn all about their previous user.
Mm-hmm.
um, Good news though, they ascertain that these two actually know nothing except this job, and that they were only hired hands. So Gonzo's like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you guys want money? Just come work for me, dummies."
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was pretty cool too that he actually decides to help the woman because she's doing this all since her mom's in the hospital, big expensive medical bill, right? Something that everyone can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Where's your mom? What hospital is your mother in? And how much are the bills? I'll cover all of it."
It's pretty cool, yeah.
the guy has to also have his debt covered, and Gonzo kicks him in the face, and he's like, "I'm gonna work you like a dog." uh,
Poor dude.
that's actually pretty cool. But he actually reveals the darker side by admitting that those two are completely expendable later on, right?
Yeah.
He only actually needs to use them to find their mastermind and then kill
Mm-hmm.
him. We get to see a little bit more banter with some Daemons during like a little cleaning scene, right? And Gabby's actually has probably the best name for her teeth. Joe William Frederick Gabriel the First and Kirk Douglas Aldglave Gabriel the Second.
I mean, leave it to Gabby. Gabby's the best character in the show, so I would expect nothing less than the extraordinant, uh,
Extraordinary names such as
yeah,
those.
yeah.
But we also get to learn a little bit more too about Break and how it can actually be a contracted daemon, which is actually something that we talked about a little bit earlier on in when we were talking about the end of the last episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
How this is a special daemon that actually requires two different beings to bring it out. Um, but from there, turns out though Break's okay with Asa having the two yin yang daemons, so just go with it. Uh, Hikaru is in a lone room and speaking with someone about his manga. Gabby and Asa are actually been known to helping him, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
actually get to see or hear some of his struggles as a mangaka, which really contradicts what you said earlier, Tyler.
Yeah, well, like there's obviously gonna be some struggle with like other aspects, but like I feel like the hardest part for a mangaka, from what we know as consumers, is the pacing of having to get a certain amount out in a certain amount of time and having to work, be bent over a desk and, working hard to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like he doesn't have to do that probably unless he just, chooses to do that. Maybe he likes that aspect of it or he wants it to feel um wants that to feel normal, I guess but I think it's kind of stupid. Like if you can just like draw two pages of panels, with the swap of your wrist and put down everything that's in your imagination, like it's gonna be crazy, like that's gonna be you don't have to work that hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not really a lot of the struggles that most mangakas have. Most mangakas deal with assistants and editors and almost missing deadlines and losing out on all of their publication files and stuff like that. Like that stuff happens a lot more common than you would believe. Like
Mm-hmm.
even Oda has or not Oda, but Shueisha has very strict guidelines for whoever has to deliver One Piece from
Yeah.
Oda, right?
Oh,
Like there's a
obviously, yeah.
whole process and procedure that they have to follow, and if they don't, or if anything happens, they're fired instantly.
I,
They don't
I
even get to go to a different project. They're just instantly fired from that position.
I mean, I believe it because like the workforce, the environment, the work environment surrounding like animation and stuff like that and manga is just so bad in
It-
Japan. So
yep. And keep in mind one other very important thing, Tyler. Who's actually writing the story?
I'm assuming Hikaru.
No,
Who's writing the story for?
the story of Shadows of the Daemon Realm. Who's writing that?
Oh, I
Not the name. What are they?
a mangaka. Yeah,
Who else would know their struggles better?
a mangaka. Yeah, but
So
But
So
that's what I'm saying though.
realistically,
Like he still has to deal with most of the struggles, but he could choose to not deal with at least one of them. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, again, like the health thing, a lot of that can also be mitigated through other means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a problem that a lot of mangakas have. They just share common struggles
Well,
in this.
so just
And
imagine
that
like
that
yeah.
was the cool thing.
Yeah, it is really cool. But just imagine like if some of these like for example the Frieren mangaka or the Hunter x Hunter mangaka, imagine if they could just like do this and just wave their hands and create what they want to on the page, then they could, they could finish their stuff and they could finish their creative, journey instead of having to say I can't do that because my health is bad or whatever, whatever's
Well,
going
yeah,
on with them. So,
but again, health is something different.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Health
Obviously.
has nothing to do with being a mangaka.
Oh yeah.
This is the struggles of a mangaka specifically.
Yeah. It's just harder. It's harder when you're pumping out content, and you're having to manually, pump out that content. So
Well, again, you're focusing in on the wrong thing here. You're focusing in on a health aspect, Tyler.
I'm focusing on all of it, but
No, he's a mangaka who's talking about the actual struggles that mangakas deal with on a daily basis. Not every mangaka deals with health struggles.
yeah, well, I wasn't just purely focusing
Every
on that though. You know what I mean? I was,
but that's what I'm saying though, is every mangaka deals with everything that he was going on about. Almost losing
mm-hmm,
out on things, lazy
yeah,
assistance, all of that stuff. And that was the cool part.
yeah, it was cool. It
You
really
get a little
was.
bit of an insight into what a lot of them are dealing
Mm-hmm.
with. But from there though, um, what is it? Back to Yuru. Dara actually takes him to his old home, where inside the entire walls are just lined with guns, and they actually ambush three of the guys that were following them, which makes them fall into Dara's trap, which is known as Lost House.
mm-hmm.
But um, before that, right, right and left actually sent some Daemons that are there, and it turns out that these Daemons are called Tenaga Ashinaga. They end up killing the two of the assassins, and then they are actually getting ready to kill everyone else. When right and left tell Dara and Yuru to take everyone and get out. They don't stand a chance.
Yeah, I kind of don't get this though, because like I thought that they was aligned with the Tadera clan, and so why would they be attacking the Tadera clan? You know what I mean? Did
Well,
I miss something?
yeah, Tenaga Ashinaga are not aligned with
Oh,
the
okay.
Tadara clan.
Then how are they
So
there?
Dara said when they first sensed, yeah, those are the Tadara Daemons, Lost House. They said no, we sense something else.
Oh, see,
And
I thought it was I thought that was the demons that they was talking about. So,
well, it is the Daemons that we're talking about. That's not the Daemons that Dara was talking about. That's the Daemons that right and left were talking about.
oh,
Dara can't sense them like that. Right and left can. And then on top of that, they're also Daemons. They don't have the same kind of limitations that say mortal humans who enter a Daemon realm would experience.
yeah,
They can probably move freely in and out.
okay, that makes a little sense. Yeah,
But we also get to find out a little bit more in the next episode when that finally drops.
it hasn't dropped yet, by the way.
Has not dropped yet. Will not drop by the time that you listen to this unless you wait until the weekend.
But yeah, there was an interesting couple of episodes. A lot of information that we had to sift through for that one. So
Yes, very much so.
you got anything else?
Um,
'Cause I don't.
that was all that I got for Shadows. Just ready for them to start throwing some hands now.
It's. I think it's gonna happen. Next episode. I think it's gonna happen. So,
Yes.
but with that being said, let's start talking about some Wistoria. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay, Wistoria season 2. We got episode 7 here. He said he no longer hang his head, and so if y'all remember the last episode, Will was putting on a clinic in the Bloom thing or whatever that they got going on. And like he was literally cutting down these monsters right and left. No one else was like able to do anything with them except for Julius, but he was having a hard time too, that's how strong these things was. Um and so like after he put on that clinic, after he showed his worth, he actually had multiple factions, including Elfie, that tried to scout him. And usually when that happens, when multiple people try to scout someone, the person will they usually get to choose which team they join, but with Will, it's unfortunate because they keep on trying to hold him down, you know what I mean? And this is no different. Uh like we got a dude here named Krutz, however you want to say it. He steps in, he's like, Will's magic, it may have helped him get here. Um, but his magic isn't the same as our magic. And basically, like if they allowed him into the factions this easily, it would be no better than allowing a dwarf into their ranks, which would be a huge dishonor for the whole system, basically. Which I kind of disagree with. Because for one thing, like even if he can't like produce magic on his own, he still has to have some kind of affinity for magic in order to handle magic like he did. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Do you think this is fair for Will?
Not at all. I think that this is just another one of their ass pulls to try and keep him out of there.
Yeah.
um, maybe there's like an ulterior motive that he's got, but
Yeah.
ultimately, I don't think that it's going to be anything that would be beneficial to generally anything or anyone for that
Yeah.
matter.
I don't know. I think I in my opinion, like I feel like I get it from like a rider aspect. You know what I mean? Like they want to just like make it last longer or whatever. You know what I mean? Make the whole situation last longer. It's part of the plot. But if you have multiple people wanting to him to join the crew or whatever, then let him. Let him. Like unless you're the big wig, let him. But this dude, he ain't a big wig. He's like in charge of like the research and development department basically. So he's like on the same level as these people. So I don't get it. But he's like, you know, in order to show that you have any sort of magical ability, and if you can show that you have any sort of magical ability, you are allowed to join the ranks or whatever. And so he summons a monster called Wars Oozes. And this thing is like a blue dragon esque sort of thing. Like worm, I guess, worm top thing, worm dragon. Um, but this thing can only be defeated by magic, even if it is a weak magic spell. It just has to be magic. If it gets like decapitated or like harmed by another means, it will just regenerate. And these was like made in order to like counter dwarfs and like people like Will basically, because it can't be beat unless you have magic. So, and honestly, like Will, he tries his best, and he's doing really good against it, but it just keeps coming back to life. He can't do anything with it in the end, and because it just keeps regenerating. Um, and it finally clicks, like, what could I do, And I it was kind of touching too. We got like two people that used to make fun of him or whatever, and they was like, if we do anything, we need to help Will out, and they was gonna give him like a little bit of magic to basically imbue his sword with again, that way he could deal with them. And Proots didn't allow that either. He's like, no, nobody's helping this dude. Like he's gonna fail on his own, type shit.
Figure it out by himself.
Yeah, he's got to do it. And so that was sad, but also happy because I'm like, I'm proud of him. Like other people are finally starting to see Will for what he is, So, but like I said, Will can't do anything, unfortunately. And Kroots, he ends up ending the session. He says, like, if we sit here watching this any longer, it's just a waste of time because Will can't do anything. He's proven that he can't do anything, blah, blah. And he's like, Will belongs to the lowest ranks of the tower, and that will become his lab rat, basically, which is tragic because Will like basically
He
try
deserves so much more.
Yeah, well, he tried to sacrifice his life and give his life for the city, and he actually done what nobody else could, and you're gonna turn him into a lab rat, basically. That's crazy to me. But they think that that's paid or whatever because they're like, we let you in the tower before that or whatever. So, but speaking of the tower, this year, because of the Terminalia incident, which, is where Will, went Super Saiyan or whatever and went crazy and saved everyone. But a lot of people died during that event. So they're actually holding a second bloom, which is what they're doing right now, in a week's time to actually try to fill the needs of their ranks because, their ranks kind of got demolished a little bit. And so everyone here that didn't get a chance, including Will, including Julius, they all get a chance in a week's time to actually get scouted again. And so, with that being said, do you think that he'll actually be able to be let in, or are they gonna give, or is he gonna fail, or are they gonna give another obstacle to put in his way? What do you think?
Oh, I think that they're gonna come up with any obstacle they can just to try and show that he doesn't deserve to go.
Yeah, I would hope not because I'm kind of tired of seeing that. I want them to progress the story. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck here. And I really hope that we don't get stuck here. I just want to see what's next. They said the prologue was over. I want to see what's next. You know what I mean? What big baddie?
Believe me too.
Yeah, what big baddie are we facing? So, but I do kind of feel like that there's going to be an obstacle in the way again. It seems like they're really hard stuck on trying to prevent him from, moving along too easily. So, even though it hasn't been easy, but don't want Will to have anything give to him apparently. So, but
yeah, nothing nice for Will.
Yeah. But speaking of that, Julius, a group of colorless Bloom attendees, they invite Wills to into the dungeon to train. They said they was going to be going deep into the dungeon since they're high mages now. And, Will's like, hell yeah, I'm going to go. I'll go do all this. And Julius storms in. He's like, no, you're not going with them.
With me.
You're coming with me. You're gonna be my
Get over here.
subordinate. I'm gonna train you. you're not gonna be playing around in the dungeon. That's not what you need. I'm gonna show you what you need. And so that's what happens. Julius takes him and he's like, you know, I'm gonna make sure you can pass, or I'm gonna try to get you to pass. But basically he's doing this. He says he's doing this because he wants to basically score brownie points with Elfie, because he knows that his only chance of getting scouted is probably through Elfie, which is the ice faction, which is what he is basically. So, and he kind of knows Will is holding him up on that end, sorta, because Elfie is wanting to choose Will, and if she can't have Will, she ain't gonna take anybody. So, um, but basically, this training starts, and this basically is consisting of Will actually trying to control and maintain magical energy. So Julius like gives him a bunch of like magical energy. He imbues his sword with it and everything. And he tells Will, like, hey, you need to control the output to bare minimum. That way you don't let it all out. And if you're able to do this, then you can actually hold the magical energy that you have been given or have obtained, and you can hold it for a long, long time until you have to use it in battle. But this is very hard. But that's his goal basically. It's like learn to control the magic, learn to hold it in, learn to like manipulate it, and then he's will be able to maybe, you know, pass the test basically. So, but that's kind of where we end this episode at, is like you know, this whole training section, I guess, because they only got a week before, the second test or whatever, and this is their last chance before they're stuck in the bottom ranks of, the tower forever, pretty much. So, um, but with that being said, do you have anything for this episode now?
No, I ultimately like it was really really cool. I felt like it was another one of those slaps in the face that
Yeah.
if it came like a couple episodes sooner, you wouldn't be watching the show anymore anyways. So
Yeah, you
I think they kind of pulled the rug on you. Really, is what happened here.
I kind I kind of knew it was coming, like I said, I feel like this is kind of lazy at some point, but like, what do you do about it? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be worth it? Maybe. It depends. It depends on if they keep dragging it out. Like, I don't understand. Like, are they just out of ideas for the long run? I don't know. Like, do they not even know where the story's going next? I mean, I don't know.
Probably not. Let's be honest.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But episode 8, we got Teachings of the Witch. And in this episode, we go back to see Will, and he's struggling with his training. Like he's having a hard time with it. He can only hold and maintain minimal like magic energy for 50 minutes tops. That's the max he's got. And after that, it just all dissipates. So, but Julius, he's actually going all out to help Will. Will says, we need to learn more about Whis. Maybe we can look in the library, the tower library, and figure stuff out, all this stuff. And Julius is like, I'm already on it. I've got clones, and I'm using them to, hunt through the library to track people down. Um, Maybe ask people questions, try to find Finn, I think he said. And
Yeah, I'm already researching. I'm already
yeah.
investigating. I'm already doing all of this.
So Julius is going all out for Will. Like he's literally expending most of his magic. I would probably say at least 90% of his magic just to help Will out. And like he says that it's for brownie points. He says he wants to, get some plus with Elfie, because
Yeah, get on Elfie's good graces.
yeah. But I don't think that's all of it. Like I think that he genuinely cares about Will. What do you think? This is just
In
his
a
own
sense,
way,
in a sense, yeah. Like clearly something happened, right? Where he doesn't want to show any kind of emotions, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, he's almost got no choice because now it's at the point where if he continues to not, then he's never going to grow any greater. So he's just doing it in the best way that he knows how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting because like I want to believe that it's just his own way of showing that he cares or whatever, but but it could honestly be just that he just wants, brownie points, we don't know, but feels like he's going all out. I feel like if you just want brownie points, you wouldn't be doing all that. So I don't know though. But speaking of like Julius, we actually get to see like a flashback of him. And he used to be a really sweet, kind little boy. And he had apparently he had a crush on his maid. It looked like his maid, and she kind of married another guy, which made him feel betrayed. Basically, she was like, you know, I got lied to. I was told that everyone loved me, including this girl, and they loved that I was kind and nice and all that stuff. And I guess he felt betrayed because the girl that that he liked, she started a life with someone else, um, and this actually led to him giving up being kind, and he started being selfish and basically changed the way he acted to what he is today. So, uh, but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting because like, obviously the girl was much older than him, and she probably meant that she loved him in the way she even said like young master, like, you know, kind of like he was his boss. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, yeah, she was probably like a maid to his family,
yeah,
right?
that's what it seemed like.
And obviously, young kid, cute girl, he's gonna get a crush regardless of how old he is at that, point.
Especially it seemed like he might
And
have been the only child, so of a rich family, right?
yeah, and obviously she didn't think anything of it
Mm-hmm.
when she said those words, but
I mean, she probably did. She probably did love him, but just in a different way, like, you know, I, I don't know. I feel like, he was a kid. He didn't really understand, what was going on. It's crazy how something like that can have such a big impact on your future like it has his. So I would actually enjoyed seeing like the old Julius over the new Julius. I feel like he would have been a cool person. So which brings me to think that like, this is also him helping Will is also his true self kind of wanting to come back out. That kind little boy. And I think Will is dragging that out of him little by little. And I think that maybe one day we will get to see what he truly is like. And he will quit having a facade, quit acting like, you know, his current self. You know what I mean?
but being so selfish and spoiled.
Yeah, it's all an act. He said it was all an act. So I'd be interested to see if Will actually makes him change. So, because Will has that kind of effect on people. So, pretty cool to see. Um,
Yeah,
but now then we move on to Kreutz, which is the head of the research and development team or whatever. He actually sees them trying to train. He sees what they're trying to do, and he wants them to fail. He wants Will to fail, and so he sends some colorless mages after them in order to put them in their place, hinder their progress. Shut them down. And Will ends up defeating his, and then he's barely gets to Julius just in time to save him. Because Julius, like we said, he doesn't have much magic left because he's going all out for Will. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene because Julius didn't want to accept the help. He's like, "Why are you here?" I feel like this is one of those moments too that like is gonna define a life. Define a moment because Julius is working through his own issues about betrayal and stuff, and Will didn't betray him, but he's calling him kind, so it's different, you know. So, um,
Yeah.
it's really cool. But then Will is actually gonna finish the job, and he didn't though because a beautiful witch named Seredwin or something like that. I don't remember how they say it, but she's got was it blue and red hair? I think it is.
Yeah.
But she stops by. She's hovering by on her little broomstick thing, and she's like, "I'll take care of them." And she like puts a flame around them and makes them pass out and shit. And she's like, "I'm gonna be your sensei. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna train you." And apparently, she actually knows a little bit about Whist, and apparently she's also one of the legendary mages of the tower. She just does what she wants, and that's it. She don't really like contribute much. She just flies around and has fun or some shit, looking for the springtime of youth. Which is being displayed by Will and Julius apparently, and she's been watching them for some time now, and she loves it. She can't get enough of it. I thought that was so funny. um, but on the other hand, we actually get Kroots again. And he's actually just dissecting the Mage Slayer, and he says that he wants to do the same thing to Will, basically. And it seems like none of the tower, none of the Magia Vonder, any of them, none of them know about what he's doing down there. And it's kind of seems like it's forbidden or something. Didn't it feel like that, Nom?
Yeah. Yeah, it is I don't know if I would even use the word forbidden, but it is definitely
Frowned upon.
not smiled upon. It is
Yeah.
definitely frowned upon.
Because the dude did,
um
I'm pretty sure the dude said, right? He's like, if anyone else found out about this, it would be a lot of trouble or something like that, right?
yeah, I mean, he's literally hacking people apart to try and figure out how to better use magic.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it works. I guess he's very successful in what he does. He even says that like he will have a updated version, a perfect what do you say, a perfect replica or some shit version of the Mage Slayer coming really soon because he's already figured it out. And so like I get it, but like also like dude's insane. Dude needs some help. Somebody needs to be watching him, monitoring him. They need to keep him on a leash. So um but it's crazy that he basically wants to do that to Will. So obviously we can't let that happen because then Will is dead, right?
Yeah, at the very least.
And then the story ends, right? It just started and it's gonna end. So
Yeah, we just got past the tutorial.
we're gonna be in the epilogue now. Uh, but yeah, so we see that little piece of information. Then the episode basically ends with the witch, the new legendary witch. She's saying that Elfie basically begged her to help them. Plus, she wants to avoid letting Kroots have Will, and plus, she really loves the springtime of their youth being displayed. And they're doing a fantastic job at it. But first, they have to strip their clothes off. And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah, I that one I was a little bit perplexed by as well. So
Yeah, I don't understand. Like maybe she's gonna take them somewhere and they need to have different clothes on. I don't know.
uh I think that she has a way of being able to test their proficiency with like the ability to use magic maybe, but she needs them like she needs to have
Just strip.
no obstructions. I I don't know, man.
I like how you're, trying to make her seem better than what
Not a
we've
fucking
seen.
pervert.
Yeah. I don't know if it's really that much. No, I think maybe she just wants them to strip.
I'm sorry, guys. I tried. I did.
But yeah, that's gonna be an interesting episode when we finally get to it. Because why do they do the strip? So I guess we'll find out. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for me. I don't know if you have anything else to talk about or not, but
No, honestly, you did a pretty good job of covering it, and I mean, there's more questions right now than there are answers,
mm-hmm.
so ultimately we just kind of have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So, with that being said, get out of the way. It's
Wistoria.
time for some Go Piece.
Mid Toria.
Whoa, whoa! I wouldn't go that far. Okay, did have some heat going for a while there.
Compared to One
Okay,
Piece though, right now. Right?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Come on, say it now. Say it
You're
with
not
me.
wrong.
Mid Toria.
Midtoria. But no. So going back to One Piece season 2, the Egghead arc,
mm-hmm.
episode
This
1163.
ain't the Egghead arc.
Huh? Oh right, sorry, Elbaph arc.
I don't guess I updated that.
Yeah, update it, please. Yeah, you guys can see I'm just in rapid reading mode right now. I want you to praise me. The crying of Tyler.
That's not the episode.
Sorry. I want you to praise me. The reunion of Robin and Saul.
Yes.
And okay, so this one is going to be a really, really short one. So I'm just going to cover the first paragraph and then we'll go into the second one. Flashbacks to Robin's past and all the terror that she was dealt with until it flashes to the current. They all arrive at the port, all of the giants. They all rush in to greet Luffy, and it turns out that every single giant was actually eager to meet with him. Even more so after his encounter with Big Mom,
mm-hmm.
just so that way they could show their appreciation, which was awesome.
Yeah, I really like that.
They like, I think last episode we had gotten introduced to the new pirates, right?
You talking about like the giant pirates?
Hajruden's,
Yeah. I'm pretty.
Hajruden's crew. Like they all got introduced last episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Or maybe it was the next episode. Um, yeah, no, it was the previous one. So, anyways, uh, like everyone is here, from them to Dorian Broggy to um just the entire village,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great. But the Straw Hats go on an adventure to the Owl Library, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Saul wished to show Robin, and Luffy is more than happy to rush over to meet him, especially after all that he's heard.
Yeah.
We also learn more of Elbaph on our way. Some little bit of tidbits and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Upon landing, we see a giant rushing over, saying Saul has collapsed.
Yeah, we seen that last episode too, and that's how they ended it. So,
Yes. Now we actually get to figure it out.
mm-hmm.
And as everyone's getting ready to go and rush over, Robin just starts giggling. She actually hands the book over to Chopper and tells everyone to wait there. She's gonna solo this.
She's got it.
And all she can do is remember her first time meeting him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finds him on the beach. He's laying down. She goes up. As she gets close, he jumps up to scare her.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time, he's not looking at the little girl anymore, Tyler.
Yeah, he's looking at Robin.
All grown up.
What, 20, probably 20 years older?
22 years older.
Yeah. I figured it was something like that.
Um, so real quick, guys, cue Tyler crying. Okay.
Tyler cried a lot during this episode.
Saul even says some things that definitely made Tyler cry even more.
Yes. It didn't help that he was also crying. Robin was crying.
Well, hang on. Not at this point yet. Hang on. We didn't get to that point yet. So at this point too, Robin is doing everything she can. She's not talking about anything sad. She's not talking about anything mean. She's not talking about anything upsetting. She's only talking about happy things. She wants to be happy. She wants to be happy in this moment. And she even gets to tell Saul to praise her for being alive.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, a really sad song starts playing.
Yeah.
We get a scene of Robin and Saul, they're crying. We go through the post credits. We see all the Straw Hats. They're crying. We even get to see all the scenes from all the years, the original scenes laid out
Her
of
and her
Robin
friends.
with the crew.
Yeah.
Tyler definitely cried here, guys. So much.
Yeah. That song was made just for that moment too. Like it literally, I don't know if you paid attention to the lyrics or not, but it was pretty beautiful. So
I was listening to quite a bit of it. I will admit though too, okay, I'm not just gonna rip on Tyler. There were parts where I was getting a little choked up too. It was a very powerful episode, especially the second watch through. So if you didn't really feel it the first time, go back and rewatch it. You'll be like Tyler, I promise.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a great episode. I really liked so in the beginning, like when they did the flashbacks, I thought it was really cool the way they handled it, like the black and white style or whatever. And they was like saying things like she lacked like they was trying to paint her to be the bad guy, the government was, and they was like she lacks emotions. And then it shows a clip, like as they were saying that, it showed a clip of like her like feeding like homeless dogs or whatever scraps to it, instead of like she was eating and she was feeding it to them too. And like everything that they were saying, they would show a clip that like countered it to show what she was actually like. But she was being, the propaganda was, being put out there that she was so dangerous, basically a robot, emotionless robot. And like it's just that part like really got me, just seeing how like rough of a childhood she actually had to have, because we've known that Robin had a rough childhood, but I don't think we've really gotten into it like very very deep, like we actually got to see like how bad it actually was here, like more details of it, I guess you can say. um because like she was always on the run. She had no one to go to, she had nowhere to hide. um, so like it was pretty sad seeing that. And then like once the different ending or whatever started rolling, I was like, man, like I think Saul said something like uh he said something to her before, as she left O'Hara. It was something like there's friends out there that's gonna be waiting for you or something like that, right? Nom, what was the words? You probably know them.
You're gonna find friends out there who truly care for you.
Yeah,
Friends who will do anything to protect you. Find them.
yeah,
They're worth living for.
yeah. And they say that shit,
find
and
a reason to live.
yeah, and they say that shit, and those freaking credits started rolling, and it just showed like all the happy moments of like her journey of how she got to this point, how she became someone that wanted to live, how she, found
How
herself,
she
found her
finally found
friends.
them.
Yeah. And like it's just a sad, like it's a happy but sad moment, you know what I mean? And then like looking back, like after knowing just a little bit more about her past as a kid, you can definitely see why she aligned herself with like Crocodile, back then, because like she had no one else. She just wanted somewhere to belong, you know, and he was it. He was one of the only people that would accept her because he could use her, and that's I don't
And
know.
she
It's
could
just
use him too.
yeah, and it's just so sad when you look back at it. So, really enjoyed this episode, even though it was just a cry fest. So,
And honestly, I think one of the other things too that makes it a lot harder to you grew up, you watched Robin, right? From the
hmm
beginning. You watch as she changes over the years. You watch as her looks change. And now all of a sudden you see her and Saul meet again, and she's just literally the grown-up version of her kid self.
hmm
And it makes it that much more impactful, honestly, because what kind of a monster can't help but fucking cry over something like that?
exactly. But yeah,
All
great
right.
episode.
Truly great. On to the next one though. Episode 1164.
hmm
Saul's Resolve. The Inherited Will of O'Hara. After all of the crying, not just Tyler's, but actually the in universe crying.
Except for three
Um
people, right? Like Zoro,
yes,
Sanji, Zoro,
Jinbei
Jinbei, and Luffy.
and Luffy.
They wasn't. Everybody else was crying, but them three. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Um Luffy actually gives a very formal thank you to Saul for helping Robin all those years ago. And obviously in Luffy fashion, he actually doesn't know the proper words, so he says it's a pressure
Yeah,
to meet you.
it's a pressure. He had to try to
That
learn
part
that from Wano, right? There's no
that part fucking killed me, dude. It's a
yeah.
pressure to meet you.
And he took so long,
What?
he's like, Otto, and then he said it. And then who said it? Sanji. He's like, I don't think you meant to say that. I think you meant to meant
I think you
pleasure.
mean pleasure.
He's like, oh, who cares?
He's like, "Oh yeah, that." Um But anyways, Saul looks around at everyone. He finally notices that Robin has found them. He even says that. He's like, I see you found them. And she's like, yep, they'd do anything to protect me.
They did do anything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he welcomes the Straw Hats as Lilith comes in and greets Saul. The thing is that he doesn't actually know of Vegapunk as Lilith. He knows of Vegapunk as Stella's body.
Old Man Apple.
Well, that's kind of a problem. But it turns out Lilith has a secret plan. It's a giant crate with a Vegapunk clone inside.
Yes. I was surprised at this. Now, I had no idea this was coming, but I love to see it. So,
I mean, I'll tell you what, you're still waiting for the payoff.
yeah. I mean, obviously, but still, like, it's
no,
huge. Even though Lilith is like obviously basically Vegapunk, but she's not the full Vegapunk. But apparently, what they have inside that crate is the full Vegapunk, which is something the government does not want out there now. And
actually, so because it seems like you didn't pick up on this one, right?
probably not.
Inside of it is a perfect clone of Vegapunk, modeled after Stella, with all the latest technological advancements.
Did they bring this from Egghead, or was this
Yes.
on Elbaph?
Nope, Egghead.
Okay, I vaguely remember them saying
Jinbei was asked to carry it out for Vegapunk.
I thought I remembered that being said. So,
yep. But at this point now, Vegapunk actually needs a new lab, so they're going to be staying on Elbaph. And we even get a little bit of hope of Kuma coming back.
Yeah,
Proper.
that was. I mean, she basically said like, I can make it happen. So
Yep.
maybe we
Now,
can.
now during all of this, this is when the kids show up. Yep. And now the Straw Hats actually get to play with them. So we get a little bit more of that. Everyone kind of gets to go their own way, right?
hmm
And so a big chunk of them go to the school, a big chunk of them go to the library. Um, Frankie, in particular, wants to go somewhere else. He wants to know more about this giant tree. He just doesn't know that it's Adam
hmm
yet. But as the Straw Hats are playing with the kids, this is where they learn that Elbaph isn't actually raising warriors anymore.
It's not cool, man.
And they're kind of confused by that because, this is what they idolized was the warrior pirates
hmm
from Elbaph. Um, but we do get to learn more about Elbaph's history from Miss Ripley.
hmm
Also, obligatory Dan moment where Luffy fell. It should have been me,
Bro. Luffy, they literally
It should have been me.
They literally had Luffy bouncing on her boobs for at least 2 minutes now. Yeah, I know Dan was sitting there rewinding that shit.
Been me.
He was rewinding that shit, bro. I guarantee you. He was like, "Oh, I missed that. I missed what it said. Let me rewind it back." Imagine if Sanji was there, bro. Sanji is just
God.
Dan. Dan is just Sanji.
He would have literally died due to blood loss. It would have literally been Fishman Island all over again.
Hoshi.
But anyways, we also get to learn that the ruler doesn't actually have a current, or the nation doesn't have a current ruler, as they rejected their most recent. I'll let you theorize who that is, but I will not confirm or deny it. Miss Ripley also wished to actually see Luffy in his white form, as they call it. This is where she actually reveals that it's very similar to a to a mythological figure from Elbaph's history.
Yeah. I assume maybe, they do say a lot of the sun god stuff, so maybe they believe in the sun god there too. So, I don't know. But it's hard to say.
So if I'm right, based on what I've seen, what chapter we're on, where the episode ended, where everything is playing out, right? We should get to the Harley text. If we get to the Harley texts, I think a lot of answers will be solved.
Yeah, we only got let me look now.
Like 5 more episodes.
It's Sundays, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably only 4 episodes. So
yep. But based on what I was seeing and where it's lining up, we should actually end up right around the Harley.
Yeah.
Which is just something that you'll figure out when we get there. Don't be too nosy. Stop looking on Google. I see you guys. But anyways, back to the actual episode, right? Saul reveals the pains and lengths that he actually went to escape Ohara, which is actually why he's so banged up looking, right? He's got all those scars. He's missing his leg. All of that is literally his fight to get to Elbaph. And once he made it, they decided to go back and actually try and save everything. Once they enter the library, Robin's book actually enlarges to the size of a giant. And that's where she gets to see it. Every book from Ohara.
Yeah.
Perfectly preserved, sitting on a shelf. Some have chars on them, right? Some were burnt. But the librarians threw every last copy into a lake in the middle of the island where it was not going to be affected by the flames. And the giants came and took it all.
So this is actually pretty cool. Like, I don't know if this is like true or not. You know, this is something that like uh I thought about that would be cool. So like obviously threw them in the the water, right, to save them. Well, they're gonna have like water damage, right? You know,
Yep.
after being in there. So this library, you know, you would think that if you go into this library and it expands, when it expands, it actually probably gets rid of the moisture, the water damage, because it's expanding, you know. I mean,
Potentially, that would actually be a really cool bonus to it, actually.
yeah, because like how else do they get rid of the moisture, I guess, the water damage? But like when you have something of a certain size that's obviously got water in it, right? But if you expand it to a bigger size, then that water is like less potent, I guess you could say, you know what I mean? And so I
I
feel
mean,
like the water damage wouldn't be as much if there would be any at all. If it does get expanded, I just don't know. That's the
if
only way
I
I can explain it in my head. You know, like how do they get
if
it?
I had if
Okay.
I had to guess, right? If I was to guess, they probably still have water damage. They just left them out to dry, right? Like it doesn't change that.
Hmm.
However, it could just be that again, the pages are wavy. Not that unreadable, right? Not
Yeah.
that they're,
But
gonna instantly tear apart.
yeah. Like I said though, I would think that it getting bigger in size would actually help that case. You know what I mean? But that's just me.
Maybe,
I don't know. That's just my theory in my head to make things make sense. So it's probably not ever going to be touched on. So, but I like thinking about stuff like that sometimes.
you know, I'll let you have this one because I don't have an answer. Loki is having a conversation with a man named Shaggy. He and Loki have actually known each other for a long time. They've just never met. And Shaggy, he appears to be very, very timid compared to Loki. Um, but this is around the time where we actually get to see a portal start to open up as the giants are celebrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from this portal, which mind you, we've seen 5 of these portals before in Elbaph, or sorry, in Egghead, mind you.
Being used by the
Leave that,
government.
leave that to what you will. We see a man who looks like Shanks, or the man who had the meeting with the 5 elders way back when,
Yeah.
and a masked, cloaked figure appear from the circle.
Mm-hmm.
That is the end of the episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because like I didn't know that people could use teleportation until like we seen the elders use teleportation. So it makes me wonder like, are they affiliated with the government and the elders since they are using teleportation magic or whatever? Um Also, speaking of like, I'm pretty sure that this magic circle thing or whatever is in Elbath, is what I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the teleportation circle is actually in Elbaph.
And they made it seem like it's like around where they're partying at, but I don't know that either. It just that's what it seemed like. Um,
It is at a castle.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see because like I already know kind of who the person is, the Shanks looking person is, thanks to social media voice actor announcements. Kenjiro
So
Kenjiro Suda actually got that role. So shout
for
out to him.
for for anyone who is wondering and has seen the trailer that Crunchyroll has put out,
Well, it's not a trailer.
these
It
are
was just a post like
No,
congratulating?
There was
Oh,
actually like a full
okay.
trailer that was put out, right?
Oh, of him like voice
Um,
acting or whatever.
no,
Okay.
scenes of these characters,
Oh,
and
okay.
they
Yeah, I
specifically
did see
said
that.
what they are.
Yeah.
We have actually met the one character that looks like Shanks before.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much that we're really going to be able to bluff around with this. The episode's over now, so I'm going to already start to assume him by his other actual identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that being said, you guys have to still watch to find out more about him and what his role is in this story.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you that much.
Yes, we don't know that. One other.
Just know that he's actually at McDonald's around March.
uh, but uh, but anyways, the one other thing I want to touch on real quick. I know we're at the end of the episode.
Yes.
So you know, all the books from O'Hara that the government wanted to destroy is at Elbaph. It has been in Elbaph for a while now, apparently.
Yep.
So it makes me wonder, like, do the government know? Does the government know that they're at Elbaph? Like, do that they have the collection? Because like that's going to be an issue. I feel like if they find out, which I'm sure they will eventually, especially if Lilith is creating a lab on Vegapunk. I mean, lab on Elbaph to make the perfect Vegapunk or unbox the perfect Vegapunk. They're gonna find out. You know what I mean? So it's only a matter of time. So I feel like that's gonna bring a lot of issues to Elbaph unless Elbaph is in a Wano state, kind of like it's very for like restricted access, or they're scared to go there for whatever reason. So we don't know that yet though, but I'm just talking right now, so it's interesting.
It is. It's one of those things where ultimately I think we just have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah, I mean obviously, yeah, but I just wanted to say something about that real quick because like that's definitely going to come back in the future sometime or another, both those things, because the government isn't going to like that. Um, so especially with Luffy going there, and I'm pretty sure they know that Luffy went there since Dorian Brogy showed up to Egghead, so and took them away. So but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the future, what's going on. So
Yep.
but that's all I got now.
Awesome. Well, that is all I have for One Piece.
Alrighty, well, um, that is it for this episode of the Spring Rundown. Uh, let us like I always say, let us know what you think about us on like all the podcast platforms. Make sure you rate us 5 stars, thumbs up, all that stuff on YouTube. Follow us on all that stuff. Join the Discord if you have any like discussions or like anything that you want us to talk about, or any questions that you want to ask about the current airing seasonal stuff that we're covering. Linktree.com/anime Degens, and we will be seeing you next week for something. Peace.
Later.